Jaguars Drive Time. Brian Sexton, John Oehser, Ashlyn Sullivan. Jaguars Drive Time starts right now.
I think everybody's frustrated, not just him. I think all of our receivers are frustrated, tight ends, our quarterbacks are frustrated, our whole team's frustrated. You lose 12 in a row, you better be frustrated. But now it's a matter of coming back to work and continuing to work on your craft, not pointing any fingers. Don't blame the quarterback. Don't blame the receivers. Don't blame the line. Don't blame the defense. Don't blame the coaches. Let's just go in here and everybody come back and work and let's get better. We have a young football team. There's no question about it. We've gone through 3 quarterbacks, different tight ends. We lost our third down back. We're getting different backs in the backfield as far as getting open. So it's been quite the challenge.
The reality of a 1-12 football team, everyone is frustrated, and that question stemmed from a question about DJ Chark Jr. and the connection with Minshew and why isn't it working. He said, hey, everyone is frustrated and they should be. Welcome into Jaguars Drive Time on a Thursday morning. Ashlyn Sullivan here with Brian Sexton and John Oehser. We're getting ready to take a deep dive into this Sunday's game against the Baltimore Ravens as we get right into big things, and big thing one is the past. Offense will look across the line of scrimmage on Sunday and see this guy, Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue, kind of sort of smiling across the line at him, maybe not. Gardner Minshew did mention yesterday in his press conference that he hopes Calais Campbell will be somewhat nice, but he did mention Yannick Ngakoue. We know he will be out for blood. I think we all can expect that and agree with that, the past of those 2 former teammates of his on the Jaguars. Big thing too is the present. The Ravens are focused on the playoffs, and that brings them to the present, to this game. The Jaguars are, like we said, a 1-12 team that is already out of the playoffs, and that's the reality of 1-12. The present for the Ravens is playoffs. The Jaguars just trying to win a game.
I wouldn't say there's a ton of pressure right now. I don't think anybody really expects much of a 1-12 team, but we expect a lot of ourselves. We're going to go out there, try not to let what's going on this season determine what happens these next 3 games. We're going to go try to have a lot of fun, make the most of them, and put some good stuff on tape.
And big thing 3, you probably can guess it. It is the future. It's all we've been talking about the past couple of weeks is Jacksonville's future, especially at quarterback for the 2021 season. Lamar Jackson put the Ravens in the playoffs his first season as the starter. Can the Jaguars get there that quickly if they get the right guy? But first, they have to worry about who the quarterback is right now.
I think there's a difference between somebody saying they want to and then actually showing that they're ready. And I think that's the one thing we were trying to figure out as a staff, that is he ready physically to get back there? And it wasn't really a whole lot of proof that gave us that. Mentally, Gardner's a competitor. He's going to want to play whether he has a broken thumb, a broken leg, whatever, he's going to try to play. But from the way we looked at it, we didn't think he was quite ready with the reps that we saw him get. Now we feel a little bit more comfortable, obviously, and Coach Marone decided to make the switch back to him. So hopefully we'll get a good couple days of practice here, let him see him stroke it in practice, and go from there.
Feeling like Gardner Minshew is back healthy from that fractured thumb, and we've been seeing him taking starting reps this week, getting ready for his first start in 7 weeks this Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. And we go back up to big thing 1, the past. And John, I thought it was pretty telling. The difference in personalities between Calais and Yannick. Obviously, we've worked very closely with both of them. But Gardner said, I have a feeling Calais will be somewhat nice. I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, well, Jan won't be nice if he gets the quarterback. Without being too snide, he hasn't gotten the quarterback in Baltimore. He hasn't got very many pressures. He's sort of a situational player. So I hope for his sake, not Sunday, but I hope for his sake in the last couple of games or sometime with the Ravens before he signs his contract that he puts up some numbers. Because right now, he's not in line for the contract he thought he was going to get. So I'm assuming he'll be motivated. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a huge sack. But the reality is Calais and Yannick aren't really huge storylines for the Ravens for sort of the reasons that the Jaguars let them go. Calais has been hurt. I think Calais' story with the Ravens will be told during the playoffs, during their playoff push, If he can get healthy, he will be exactly what they wanted. But so far, not a huge story for the Ravens, those two this year.
No, and I was going to touch on, John, that we're somewhat vindicated here. We were both vilified for suggesting that Yannick was not worth the money in Jacksonville. Laid it out, pointed out all the things now that in Minnesota they talked about for the brief time he was there. In fact, the guest that we had on mentioned it a few weeks back. And now you're seeing in Baltimore, situational pass rusher. So all the pay Jan. And we said, no, don't pay Jan, right? Don't give him a contract that ties you to him into the future at an exorbitant number, and the numbers won't back it up. It'd be interesting to see what the Ravens do. What they gave up for him in today's currency is not prohibitive, not when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. They could let him walk as well and go find the money somewhere else. Their cap situation is fairly healthy. However, they've got a lot of guys they have to pay. So it's Calais Campbell. Look, I've been here every season. I have interacted with every player at least once in their career in Jacksonville. And I've never known one that was as good as Calais. And that's with all due respect to Jimmy and Fred and them, but just in terms of the way that he interacted with people, how friendly he was, how outgoing and committed he was, person, teammate, football player. He's the whole package. Hated to see him go, but now you see why the Jaguars let him go. His productivity wouldn't match the salary that they had. But the Jan thing, hey, I'm one of those guys that tell you, I really liked Jan. I liked him personally. I enjoyed interacting with him. I liked his edginess. I just wouldn't have paid him that. And I wonder who will pay him that now. What do you have, 5 sacks in Minnesota? And he has 1, I think, here in Baltimore. Those two guys, as much as they would have improved the Jaguars off of where we are right now this year, letting them go was the right move.
Yes, when you're matching money with stats, it seems to be that was the right decision for both of them, but definitely will be a storyline that we're looking at on Sunday. And let's go to big thing 3, because Brian, I know that you definitely are passionate about this, getting the right guy. And that's the big question is, can the Jaguars be in a similar situation with the Ravens where they're in the playoffs the first year of Lamar Jackson being the starter? But that's key. Is he the right guy? There's no guarantee if you just go get a quarterback in the draft. Oh, yep, you're there. No problem.
Well, so that's why Mike Glennon was in the lineup, as far as I can tell. They needed to see what they had in terms of young players. Let's say your quarterback next year is Justin Fields. But for the purpose of our conversation here, it could be any of them. They're not going to do it on their own. That Ravens team in 2017 that Lamar Jackson took over in mid-season and took them into the playoffs, 2018, when he took them into the playoffs and they got beaten Kansas City, I think he went 7-1 or 8-1 over that course of the season. And they had a talented team. They had some high draft choices, good offensive and defensive linemen. So Glennon's in the lineup for a couple of weeks so they can see, Colin Johnson. No real surprise that he rose to prominence when Mike Glennon and Jake Luton before him, the guys with the big arms, were in the lineup. The Jaguars needed to see what they had. We needed to see who these young guys were and what we could expect from them growth-wise into 2021. You get the right quarterback, and if some of these dozen draft picks, and a lot of them look like they're really promising players, but if some of them rise next year and take a big step forward from year 1 to year 2, yeah, at least you could be in contention. You could be the Raiders, right? Or the Bears, who are coming in here a week from Sunday at 6-7. You can be in the conversation. If this, then that. Hell, just give me that. Give me something to talk about in December, except next year's draft. And I'm not the only one saying that, right? Just give me that with a first-year quarterback. Even if it's the most remote thing that has to happen, let me talk about that. That's what makes this part of it fun. So, yeah, I think there are some tremendous young players. I write about them in John's got quick thoughts coming up later today. We focused on rookies, the numbers, the quality. Yeah, the right quarterback can put this team into the conversation in his rookie season.
That's all you want to be in the conversation, which leads us perfectly into big thing 2. And John, obviously the Jaguars right now are not in the conversation. The Ravens, very much are. And I was talking to LaVisca Chenault yesterday, and I was like, all right, LaVisca, you're going up to Baltimore. This is a really explosive team, playoffs, they're fighting for it, and you guys are just trying to get a win. And he said, we have to do our job, and we have to go up there. But that's the biggest thing, is we get the answers of do your job, which is obvious. You got to go up there and compete, but to match that level of intensity, it's going to be hard.
Well, it's historically very hard. One of the strangest things to happen in the NFL statistically is when a team that's out of it beats a team that is desperate. And by desperate, I don't mean, the Ravens are desperate because they need to win to get in. It's what made the 2016 game when the Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans in Doug Marrone's first game as interim. When Tennessee was playing for everything and a team out of it beats you, that's really unusual. That's the situation this week. Plus, you have very talented team in the running game against a very depleted part of the Jaguars game. I'm not trying to depress everybody here, but this is a brutal matchup for motivation reasons, for adrenaline reasons, and for just plain physical reasons. So I'm picking the Jags.
When all else fails, picking
Ashlyn,
the Jags.
real quick.
I like it, John.
Real quick, and I know we've got a guest from Baltimore. Just you look at the AFC playoff standings right now. The Colts are in the 6th spot of 7, and Baltimore is in the 8th spot, right? And they're tied with Miami, but they're behind them in the tiebreaker. I mean, you're getting a team that is desperate to win on Sunday. At home, the weather's likely to be cold, and they have a team that's coming off of the game of 2020, right? I mean, John's use of the word brutal is apt, but it may not be strong enough. I mean, this Ravens team is going to be wound up like a jet engine, and you're asking a Jacksonville team that's constantly putting players on injured reserve, going in without starters, to light the match and go compete. And Doug Marrone would say, yeah, I am, because that's what our job is as professionals. You got it. It is. But you want to be where they are, and you look at the Bears who are coming in the next week. They're 9th in the NFC, but they've got a chance to go to 8th with the Vikings on Sunday, and who knows what happens with Arizona in front of them. I mean, that's where this team is. It's this grinded-out mentality. One thing that you can count on, you will find out who loves the game of football the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely. That is one thing
Ashlyn
that will
Sullivan.
tell, and needless to say, it's a tough competition on Sunday. But hey, John's picking the Jags, and we're counting on that. When we come back, Garrett Downing, Baltimore Ravens digital host, is joining us right here on Jags Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by TIAA Bank. Created to serve, built to perform. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dreamfinders Homes has a simple commitment to their home buyers. Deliver unsurpassed quality, uncompromising value, and an extraordinary level of customization you simply won't find with other home builders. With over 40 communities to choose from, you'll find a location you love and the home of your dreams. Dreamfinders has townhomes, single-family homes, and custom estate homes starting from the high 100s and a wide selection of move-in ready homes. Quality, value, customization. That's the Dreamfinders difference. Call 904-738-0165 or online at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Prices subject to change without notice. Equal housing opportunity.
You won't find a better deal to keep your ride clean than Scrubble's Flexible Service Car Wash. Start in the tunnel wash and experience state-of-the-art equipment while enjoying a soapy light show. Our quality soaps and solutions keep your vehicle streak-free. Every 3-minute car wash package comes with self-serve vacuuming, lint-free towels, window cleaner, and a free air freshener. Visit us at the St. John's Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. And coming soon to Kernan and Atlantic. Trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive. Go Jags!
What is difficult is the speed of it, and I think that's the one thing that you see with Lamar. I mean, he's got a good arm and he can throw, but the speed of him on the field, I mean, he's just, he always looks like the fastest guy on the field, and that's a credit to him. And a 3 or 4 yard gain turns into a 16-yard gain, the other day. You're just like, hey, they have a good angle on him. So I think what's hard to simulate is those angles and the way you got to come to kind of corral him or try to keep him in a web, you know what I'm saying, that you can get him down.
Doug Marone on attempting to simulate Lamar Jackson in practice with scout team. Needless to say, that's a little more difficult than past weeks, and we'll see if they can get it done on Sunday against the Ravens. But first, Fair and Fair reminds you to continue to wear a mask. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Fair and Fair, protecting you and your family since 1979. We're back, Jags Drive Time Thursday morning, brought to you by the Fields Auto Group, and we're looking forward to Sunday's game against the Baltimore Ravens, and we now have Garrett Downing, Baltimore Ravens digital host, joining us. Garrett, thank you for waking up early with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So one, are you well rested? Did you take a nap? Because that Monday Night Football game, we stayed up for it. That fourth quarter, that fourth down, where Lamar Jackson comes back in the game. We're still talking about it, so I'm sure you guys are.
Yeah, we are. Actually, I've gone through several cups of coffee here in the past few days as the Ravens kept me up late for that game on Monday, and I couldn't go to bed after that one. Certainly, I mean, that was the game of the year that we've seen so far in the NFL. It had a little bit of everything. It was back and forth. It was down to the wire. It had theatrics with Lamar Jackson having to leave the game, get an IV, deal with cramps, and then come back in on fourth down. It really seemed like it was something out of either Hollywood or pro wrestling script. Maybe a little bit of both, but just really an incredible game. And I think the Ravens are looking at where they are right now, and they feel like they have a chance to finish the season strong, get to the playoffs, and go into the playoffs hot. However, they know they can't afford to lose one of these final three games. If they lose, they might be on the outside looking in for the postseason. So they know that this game on Sunday against Jacksonville is critical for them.
Garrett, there was obviously a huge spotlight on Lamar Jackson, and he obviously handles that well. But I'm wondering, through a difficult season with the COVID stuff, with everything going on, it seems like Lamar's getting back to being Lamar. Is that the way you read it? And, what's his mindset right now going into this final push?
I think that's a good observation. Lamar talked about how when he went on the COVID list, missed the game against Pittsburgh and then returned, how that whole experience for him basically served as a bit of a reset. That he felt like when he returned, he realized how much he missed the game, how much he missed being around his teammates, and just how eager he was to come back and just play. I think that it rejuvenated him to a certain extent. I know it sounds strange to say that going on the COVID list could be a way to rejuvenate you. But I think that this is a guy who's been in the spotlight so much since the end of last season that to kind of get a break, reset, and then come back and kind of be in a back against the wall mentality where the Ravens have to likely win out to make the playoffs. I think that serves him well. And he has said that he does feel a little bit rejuvenated, refocused. And he played probably his best game of the season overall on Monday night, and he looks really good since returning.
Garrett, Lamar Jackson is obviously the Ravens MVP. But if they get into the playoffs and do some damage, could the case be made for Orlando Brown? When you lose Ronnie Stanley, who's one of the best left tackles in football, and you move your right tackle to your left tackle, I mean, that's no gimme, even for a talented young player like that he's going to make the adjustment from right to left and be able to hold up. But I watched the game the other night. I thought he held up well. How has the offensive line adjusted to the loss of Stanley, one of your best players, and then managed to thrive with Brown, your right tackle, playing left?
Yeah, Orlando Brown's playing really well. I mean, this is a guy who was a third-round pick, and a lot of people know his combine story, and he ends up being just a great fit in Baltimore. Some of the older fans may remember his dad, Orlando Brown Sr., was a player for the Browns and the Ravens, and was a great player. So Orlando's been a great fit in Baltimore. Like you said, he's moved from right to left. He kind of sets the tone for that offensive line. He has an edge. He has an attitude when he's out there on the field. He's playing fantastic. And I actually think that you mentioned the game on Monday. He was going up against Myles Garrett, who's in that Defensive Player of the Year conversation. And Garrett was held pretty quiet in that game. So he's playing great. I think the offensive line is really coming together for the Ravens. I thought they had their best overall game against the Browns with this reworked offensive line. And so, if the Ravens are going to go on a run here and make noise in December and potentially January, they need their offensive line playing at a high level. It did on Monday, and that's going to be something to watch down the stretch for this team.
Story. Mark Ingram's been in and out of the lineup with different issues, and here comes J.K. Dobbins. Again, we're talking here about what a young, undrafted James Robinson has meant to this team. What has J.K. Dobbins meant to this team to keep some of the pressure off of your quarterback?
Yeah, J.K. has played well, second-round pick. The Ravens started the season with Mark Ingram as the bell cow at running back, but really this has been a three-back approach all year long with Ingram, with Gus Edwards, with J.K. Dobbins. And what's happened over the course of the year is that the percentage of the carries in the pie has shifted a little bit away from Mark Ingram. He didn't have a carry on Monday. It shifted away from Ingram, more towards Gus Edwards, who had 2 touchdowns against the Browns, and more towards J.K. Dobbins, who had a touchdown against the Browns, also a 2-point conversion. So there's just been this kind of shift over the course of the year, and Dobbins is somebody who, to me, is really kind of an ascending player. And I think that the Ravens, here in Baltimore, there were complaints, and also from fantasy football owners, saying, give J.K. Dobbins more carries, give him more carries. That was something we heard a lot in the first half of the season. Well, it's clear that the Ravens had a plan, which was to bring him along slowly. Now we're here in December. He's got fresh legs. Gus Edwards has fresh legs. Mark Ingram still has fresh legs. They've balanced it pretty well. And as they get down here to the stretch run, they've got an explosive young running back who is not hitting the rookie wall and is still very much on the ascent. And I think that's a good thing for this offense.
Yes, we've talked about all week the Jaguars' run defense better be on point. And Garrett, it's a storyline down here in Jacksonville, and I'm wondering if it is up there for Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue, the return of playing Jacksonville. For those two guys, have you heard anything about it? Are you guys talking about it? Or is that just us kind of overhyping it like reporters sometimes do?
No, I mean, I think that there's certainly excitement for those two guys. Haven't had a chance to talk with Yannick, but did talk with Calais yesterday. He downplayed it a little bit. You guys know Calais. I'm no surprise that he didn't make too big of a deal of it. But I think that whenever a player goes up against a former team, there's motivation there. There's you want to prove something. We've seen that time and time again with players going up against former teams. I mean, one that stands out to me of all time was when Steve Smith came to Baltimore and played Carolina, and he had a stellar game and delivered some Steve Smith-esque quotes after that game in the way only he could. Calais basically said yesterday he's got a lot of friends in Jacksonville, still keeps up with a lot of people there. And so there's going to be, some fun kind of trash talk back and forth over the course of the game. But I'm sure once those two guys get into that environment, they're going to be wanting to prove something. It's only natural. And so I don't think that's necessarily the main focus by any means for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. But for those two guys, I think that this game is no question going to mean a lot.
Absolutely going to be an interesting game on Sunday in Baltimore. Garrett Downing, Baltimore Ravens digital host. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. See you guys on Sunday.
Sounds good. And when we come back, Jags Drive Time, some top tweets here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill, everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit AdeccoUSA.com.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters. Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oi.
Bonjour.
Xin chào.
Добрый день. كيف فينا نساعدكم?
¿Cómo te podemos ayudar?
If you have an accident, the last thing you should have to worry about is a language barrier. That's why at Farah and Farah, we have a team as diverse as our clients. So no matter what language you speak, we'll fight for your voice. Farah and Farah, here for you.
نحن هون للكل. Ici pour vous.
Aquí para todos.
Here for all. Jacksonville.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch, an online or phone chat for those quick questions, and a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
This season, the Jaguars are launching predictive gaming exclusively in the Jaguars mobile app. Choose a bingo card, pick your favorite 3 players, and place wagers to win prizes. Check the games out in the mobile app right now.
Top tweets. Top tweets. Top tweets.
Top tweets. We start top tweet going to Big Cat Country after Doug Marone's press conference yesterday said something a little funny about his son playing in the high school state championship. And he said, I was just told my son, all the pressure is on you this Christmas holiday. I said, I'm not pulling it home this year. So it's all on you whether we're going to be a happy family or a miserable family. That's exactly what I told him to last night. His son plays for Bowles High School, who takes on Cardinal Gibbons this afternoon in the high school state championship. And sadly, Brian, I kind of felt for him because obviously Coach Marone can't go to this game, and I know your sons are in high school football, and that would mean a lot to a dad, I can imagine. I can't relate, but it
well,
seems
I can
like
just tell you, I was part of a state championship high school football team in 1986, long ago. And meeting my dad after the game, under the stadium after we won, is one of the memorable moments in my life. I mean, football obviously shares a part between fathers and sons, or it always has. That would be really tough to know that he's playing for something so significant and not be there either way to, congratulate him, and I remember that moment well, or to console him if it doesn't go Bowles' way.
Well, let's hope that it goes Bowles' way, and good luck to them. And we'll be sure to ask Coach Marone about that tomorrow morning. And now we go to top tweet number 2, which is Louis Riddick, who we watch on ESPN Monday Night Football, has been said to be interviewing with the Detroit Lions and Houston Texans. Adam Schefter tweeted that the Jaguars have wanted to interview him as well, but nothing has been scheduled yet. And John, I guess this is, I don't want to say the appeal, that's the wrong word, but letting a general manager go before the end of the season. There's already teams who have been doing that. It kind of seems like you have to start getting a move on because there are so many teams looking for a new general manager this year.
Well, you want to do your due diligence on everybody, and there are a few pools, if you will, to draw from on GMs. One of them has become sort of the TV analyst pool. There's also a pool of GMs who aren't in the league. So you want to make sure that you look at those and you get those names crossed off your list if you don't go that direction, because you can't talk to GMs who are in the league until their teams are out of the playoffs or into the postseason. So it's hard to get a read. I get questions all the time. When will they hire a GM? Well, when Shad finds the right guy. But that could be a week before the season-ish, a week after the season ends-ish. I would think somewhere in there. But Louis Riddick is a intriguing name, as are some other TV names.
Absolutely. We're going to see much more of that coming here the next few weeks. It's going to stay in the conversation as we go to top tweet 3. Our guy, D-Rock, always on top of it for ESPN. And Doug Marone did say something else about Lamar Jackson in his press conference, saying scout team-wise, they would basically have to have an Olympic sprinter to match what they're going to see on Sunday with Lamar Jackson. And Brian, he mentioned that Jake Luton was working on his 40 time and it was improving, but I have a feeling it's not going to match Lamar's, just from an observation from afar.
Yeah. I watched Michael Vick play and Randall Cunningham play. Those were the guys who were thought to be just incredible, speed merchants. More so Vick. I watched Lamar Jackson, and I think I haven't ever watched a human move like that. The way that he can change his direction on a dime and hit full speed. And maybe it's because he's a bit of a long strider. I don't know that he looks so much faster than everyone else on the field, but there are times where I think, oh, they got him here, and then no, they don't have him. His speed is unbelievable. It's an incredible addition to the game.
Yep, and Doug Marrone said we're going to have to take angles that we've never taken before to stop Lamar Jackson on Sunday. Needless to say, going to be a challenge. That is top tweets. When we come back, some closing thoughts here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
You can step up to luxury now.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Whatever you're driving, you can step up to luxury now. Plus, get our Fields amenities, which include complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes.
Make this your year to step up to luxury at Fields Cadillac, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Land Rover, Jaguar, and Lexus. When it comes to the ultimate car buying experience, there's only one name that matters: Fields. And Fields matters because you matter. The Fields Auto Group, proud partners of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dreamfinders Homes has a simple commitment to their home buyers. Deliver unsurpassed quality, uncompromising value, and an extraordinary level of customization you simply won't find with other home builders. With over 40 communities to choose from, you'll find a location you love and the home of your dreams. Dreamfinders has townhomes, single-family homes, and custom estate homes starting from the high 100s and a wide selection of move-in ready homes. Quality, value, customization. That's the Dreamfinders difference. Call 904-738-0165 or online at dreamfindershomes.com. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Prices subject to change without notice. Equal housing opportunity.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, ensuring those who serve.
Back on Jags Drive, time for a few short minutes, and we've been wondering all week, how is this defense planning to combat Lamar Jackson and all those Ravens offensive weapons we've been talking about all week? Well, we're going to find out today. Todd Wash takes the podium before practice, then we have defensive players after practice. Then we'll be back tomorrow morning, coffee with the coach, Doug Marrone, at 9 a.m. We will see you there.